What's approaching the supreme moment, reality striking closer than it seems, don't it? Go ahead.
What's good? Time for another showcase. I've been working on this guy and thinking about Rainbow him for quite some time. I ended up, unlocking all the dude pass a while back, but went ahead and finally invested the orbs into him. First of all, this guy's card art design for Base of Form and the Dokkan Awakened State are pretty nice overall. I mean, it's a very, very good looking card design itself, but the unit itself is pretty good too. So let's go ahead and break down the card itself and talk about the stats. So leader skill, it is a pretty decent leader skill. 70% increase to HP attack and defense for intelligent types. Now you could certainly use him as a secondary leader in battlefield settings. The only drawback with this unit is the fact that he does not provide any boost to Ki as part of the leader skill. The super attack will cause supreme damage to enemy. Passive skill attack increase of 70% when facing two or fewer enemies. So this unit is ideal for Dokkan events and anything really outside of Super Battle Road. Not that you want to use this guy for the Battle Road settings, but when you're facing two or fewer enemies, which is typically what you're going to have in the Dokkan events, it's a pretty decent unit for that. Lean skills include Golden Warrior, that's +1 Ki, enemies defense minus 2000. Saiyan Lineage, +1 Ki, Super Saiyan, 10% increased attack. Royal Lineage, +1 Ki, prepared for battle, +2 Ki. Dismal Futures, +1 Ki. And finally, Fierce Battle is 15% increased attack. This guy falls into 3 categories: Hybrid Saiyans, Future Saga, and Time Travelers. I decided to do this showcase on the Time Travelers category just because it's one of the newer ones, and I was able to pull the LR Future Trunks in my unit. So let's go ahead and do that setup. So as you can see, maxed out HP is 11,010, attack is 10,526, and defense is 7,338. 12 Ki Multiplier is 130%. Typically, this is one of those units that you would use to raise the SA. I mean, you could certainly use the other story event Future Trunks units to do that as well, but I did a showcase on this unit last year with a friend lead, but I wanted to see this guy on a proper team setup and see how he actually performs. So this is kind of why I'm going through and revisiting the unit, so to speak. Again, one of the key incentives for me to get this guy to 100% was because the card art design is just badass. I mean, it represents this pivotal scene in Future Trunks where he's handling business in terms of setting the future straight. You know what I mean? So it was definitely a pretty important scene, and it's actually a real nice epilogue to the saga itself. So kind of a tribute throwback to that. It is one of the scenes in the manga that I do like a lot. So I just went ahead and decided to Rainbow scene it. You can definitely tell how he has matured and grown over the battles, I guess, with the epilogue. Best way to put it, I guess. But back to the unit itself, it's a pretty decent unit. You do again get a 70% increase to attack as part of the passive when facing 2 or less enemies. So it is frequent enough scenario where you do face 1 or 2 enemies and that's it, especially the Dokkan events. So you'll be able to get the passive active for the most part. Again, not that you would want to take this guy to Super Battle Road, but he's definitely not a unit you want to do that because you're facing close. You're starting off with 4 enemies right off the bat, so you're never going to see the passive for this guy. So definitely not an appropriate candidate for those settings. But other than that, like Dokkan events, this guy's a pretty decent option. And I think for new players, this unit can perform pretty well. Even if you don't have the Time Travelers category, you could certainly use maybe a Hybrid Saiyans if you have the Ultimate Gohan unit. If not, you can certainly run him on a super team and he'll do just fine. So I did include the Super Saiyan 2 Bardock unit because of great links between the 2 units. Also, Bardock does provide a 30% increase to attack as well. It's like a dip. I want to put him in the middle slot, but you never know with these units because they might end up critting and annihilating the enemy. So you have to be wary of that. So that's why sometimes you won't see him in the most ideal position, but that's kind of why that is the case. But let's go ahead and see how the Dokkan mode is with this Future Trunks unit, and it'll be a neutral type setting. I wanted him to be in the middle slot here, that way he would maximize the Link skills, but in order to give him the Dokkan mode, you'll have to do it here. So 1.1 million with the crit, certainly not a bad output. And I did include the Supreme Kai at time just to provide that extra potential, 40% increase to attack and defense. Certainly does help in this scenario. She is part of the Time Travelers category, and that's pretty much the extent. That was probably the only real support unit outside of the Bardock unit that's on this team setup. So, realistic enough to include at least 2 support units on a team. I think that's appropriate setup, and you do have both of them on this rotation, so definitely a decent output, or attack potential with that one. It's definitely a pain fighting the Hiradagarn event just because he dodges like crazy, but once you get the gauge down, and he can no longer dodge basically, so that's just riding it out till then. Overall, he's definitely a decent option. For a free-to-play unit, he's one of the better units, I think, in my opinion. He's a versatile enough unit where you can run him on a variety of teams, and again, I mean, it really just came down to the card art design just being so nice. I mean, I ever since it came out, even the base SSR UR version, I thought it was a really nice looking card. So I've always wanted to rainbow him, but I've always had better units, so I don't know, I guess I finally decided to rainbow this guy, and honestly, yeah, he's not going to be in the top picks of teams that I'm going to build, but he'll at least be part of the collection, and it's a nice unit to see at 100% potential, honestly. But he does have a lot of practical uses, and I do want to kind of mention that is he can be ran on a couple of variety of teams. Again, Hybrid Saiyans, Future Saga, Time Travelers, even a super type team. You could run this unit on a variety of setups, and if you're lacking certain units, it's a little bit obsolete now because even Global did get the Prime Battle LR featured Trunks finally, and they share the same name, so you obviously won't be able to run this unit with the other one, but yeah, I mean, this guy's still a decent option regardless. I mean, if you're looking at certain battle conditions where you want the intelligent type advantage over potentially a tech enemy, and you don't necessarily want to bring the agility LR featured Trunks, and that's certainly an option for you. But again, I did it mainly as collection purposes and just really want to see this guy at 100%. I think it ranges from anywhere from 485,000 to upwards of 600,000. So yeah, his attack stat is definitely decent for a free-to-play unit. I mean, this is as free-to-play as you can get. I mean, it's a card drop. You just farm the SA, farm the dupe hats, and pretty much yeah, invest the orbs, and that's pretty much it. The only pain about this guy is you do have to awaken a total of 5 different sets because in order to unlock the paths, you do have to Dokkan awaken the Trunks unit first. So that's the only issue with that, but it's not too bad. You get a card drop bonus and drop rate increases based on bringing a future Saga team. So the grind is a lot better than it used to be. I'll put it to you that way. And you can pair him up with any of the other variations of Trunks units. So again, the LR, the Prime Battle LR Future Trunks is definitely the much better unit now, but this guy is pretty decent also as an alternative option. So hopefully you enjoyed the video. This is one of those 100% potential units that you don't see too often, so hopefully you enjoyed it, and as always, thanks for watching.